The Chicago Sky have announced changes to their coaching staff, which was announced before their last game. We're going to catch up on that today. We're also going to ask, is Elena Smith a candidate for the Most Improved Player of the Year award? We're also going to get into previewing the Sky versus the Aces going down tonight. We're going to get into all that and more right after this.
Welcome to Chicago Sky Central, and here's your host, Haize.
What's going on, Sky fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Sky Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Sky related. I'm the host here, Haize. You guys can follow the channel right off the top at Chicago Sky Pod on every social media platform we happen to be on. Also, make sure you join the Discord server. Links down below to that, where if you want to be in conversations with any type of Chicago sports or Chicago Sky specifically, that's the place to be at. But with all that being said, let's go ahead and get into the content for today. First up, the Chicago Sky have added 2 new members to their coaching staff. First up, they've added Alvi Story has rejoined the team as Director of Basketball Strategy and Personnel after she was originally with the team but left 4 seasons ago and spent 4 seasons under Kurt Miller on his staff in the Connecticut Sun since 2019. She was with the Sky during the 2017 season up until the 2018 season. Moved on to the G League in the 2018 season. Also, Jeff Palagosia has also joined to the team and will be working with Kalia Copper. He's Director of Skills Development specifically. So this is just the Chicago Sky continue to do the correct things, kind of build out your franchise, right? And that's what you want to have is coaches that are going to be there with the head of development. Jeff specifically did work very closely with Courtney Vandersloot her last couple of seasons with the Chicago Sky. Now is going to move on to working with Kalia Copper. And we already know, right? Kalia Copper especially, you want to invest in her development, get her as ingratiated to this team as possible before free agency. Not that she already isn't. But hey, these are just 2 additions to the coaching staff as the Chicago Sky are still have yet to find their new permanent head coach as far as we know. So continue to adding to that coaching staff, just adding to what we have with the Chicago Sky is the best thing possible. Next up, though, I want to talk about Elena Smith, right? And specifically her chances to win Most Improved Player of the Year award. Now, I do think for her to be in contention for this award, it would have to mean that Chicago Sky are going to have to get into the playoffs, which is a story for another day. But when you look at Elena Smith, she's never averaged more than 6 points per game in her career. 6.1 points per game was that. She achieved that in the 2020 WNBA season. And then if you look at last season with the Indiana Fever, averaging 4.3 points per game in that season. And then so far, averaging over 10 points per game for the Chicago Sky so far. And just overall, Elena Smith's the growth of her game and seeing how she's played with the Chicago Sky, both defensively, rebounding the ball, getting blocked shots. Like, she's just grown exponentially, not only in her time in the WNBA, but overall just her time with the Chicago Sky. You're just seeing the growth and development that she's had from initially coming in after Isabel Harrison went down. And, Morgan Birch stepped up as well, was the starting power forward for a while. Elena Smith eventually gets in there and has now had a stranglehold on that. The average of 10 points per game has dropped a little bit with the last couple of games, and now averaging 9.6, but also averaging 7 rebounds, 1.7 assists, 1.4 steals per game. Elena Smith has been a big part of the Chicago Sky, especially in wins. When you look at also the 1.5 blocks per game, only 1.6 turnovers per game, shooting the ball 50% from the field and 30% from the three-point line. Elena Smith has absolutely, unequivocally played a major role for the Chicago Sky this season, right? And it's been such a revelation. And still, when you look at her, 26 years old, still has so much time ahead of her. And this was a player that James Wade went out and got and recruited, and it's paying off big times now. So, seeing Elena Smith have the season that she's had, I do think that she can get in that consideration. I also think that Dana Evans, for that matter, could get into the conversation of 6th Woman of the Year. But the Sky have to be in playoff contention for those things to happen. Now, again, I'm not necessarily saying that Elena Smith is going to win Most Improved Player of the Year, nor am I saying that Dana Evans deserves to win 6th Woman of the Year. But having them around those conversations, right, just shows what the impact that they have made for the Chicago Sky this season. So I do hope so. I hope that she gets that type of recognition because she's made such a major impact for the Chicago Sky so far this season. We got a few games left, right? We know we got a little bit under half the season left to go, and hopefully in that time, in the 18 games that we have left, that the Chicago Sky can make a move. I've already talked about it in the last episode, why the Chicago Sky still can make a push for that playoff spot, but ultimately they're going to have to really, bring it together, play extremely well, execute on both sides of the ball, and right now they are the 8th seed, right? They have that 8th seed outright. They own that spot by 1 game though, at least no 2 games. Sorry, with the Los Angeles Sparks. So they got a little bit of a buffer there, but they're gonna have to win the games that they can win, right? They're gonna have to execute, play tough in every single game, and we have a big test coming up tonight against the Las Vegas Aces. This is a team that is rocking and rolling. Yes, they have Candace Parker down, who actually went down, had to get surgery on her foot. Apparently, has been playing with a small fracture in her foot the whole season. Doctors finally told her that she had to get the surgery. It was a must. But the Las Vegas Aces won the title last year without Candace Parker, so they have more than enough in their artillery to completely blast away the Chicago Sky in a potential game. So, they're going to have to come in. They're going to have to perform well. Defensively, they're going to have to make a name for themselves, rebound the ball well, playing the passing lanes well tonight against the Las Vegas Aces. That's going to be where the Chicago Sky can make their bread and butter. They're going to have to shoot the ball efficiently, play together as a team. We're going to have Marina Mabrey and Kalia Copper both step up big time and perform well, as well as every player on the roster. But when you look at Asia Wilson, maybe on pace for another MVP, averaging 20 points per game and 9.8 rebounds per game, you cannot overlook. She's just such a great player to be an advocate for the WNBA. It has that star potential, but you cannot overlook this team at all. And I doubt they would. 21-2 on the season. You cannot overlook a team that's 21-2. You have to come in prepared, specifically defensively, right? That's where I want to see the Chicago Sky really lock in defensively, own those matchups as best as they can, rebound the ball well, give themselves as many second chance opportunities as they can have, and limit second chance opportunities for the Las Vegas Aces. They have to do that, because if you allow them to get on the boards, if you allow them to get out in transition, if you allow them to get second chance points, they will completely destroy you before the game really has a chance to even get started. That is what this Chicago Sky team is going to have to do. And yes, we're going to need big performances. We're going to need Elizabeth Williams to also be that defensive anchor in the middle, because they're going to come attacking. They're absolutely going to come attacking, and if we allow them to get on a roll early, it's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be any chances that we have in the game. If we're going to have a chance in this game, it's going to have to come through expert execution. That's just what it is. That's what it is. When you look at this is a team that is the #1 offensive team in the NBA, and they're no slouch defensively. They're top 5 defensively as well. And when you look at how they rebound the ball, the Las Vegas Aces average 35 rebounds per game. That is the 4th best in the WNBA. Where the Chicago Sky aren't any slouches either. We're 6th in the WNBA, averaging a little over 34 rebounds per game ourselves. The story of this game is going to be told on the battle of the boards and defensively a lot of ways. We also have to execute offensively, right? We have to shoot an effective percentage. Not get into the area where we're jacking up bad shots or transition threes if they're not wide open. We have to execute. That's it. If we don't execute, it's going to be a long night. It's going to be a terribly long night for the Chicago Sky. The Las Vegas Aces, the #1 offense in the league, like I said, but also have the #1 field goal percentage in the WNBA as well, averaging 50% shooting for the team as a whole. Now, where the Chicago Sky can make their name, we already talked about the rebound battle. The Chicago Sky are also the 3rd-ranked team as far as block shots. Las Vegas Aces are #1 in that as well. At 5, they average 5.2. We're going to have to do that, get to the line. One of the things that we did pretty well in the last game, now again, that was against the Seattle Storm. The Aces are a much more disciplined team, but we got to the free throw line a lot in that game, specifically Kalia Copper. If we can get to the free throw line as well, hit our shots effectively, we can have a chance against the Las Vegas Aces. Am I predicting the Chicago Sky to win? No, because I'm not crazy. But they can be in this game and make this a competition by executing those type of things. Let's hope the Chicago Sky to do it. I think they're up for the test, at least to execute those things. They could still very well get blown out, even executing those things very well. But let's see and hope that the Chicago Sky are going to put themselves in the best situation to win this game tonight. Let me know what you guys think down below. What percentage chance are you giving the Chicago Sky to win this game tonight? Let me know that down below if you're on the YouTube side. Now, before we go, you guys know I like to go around the WNBA for news. We already talked about the Candace Parker thing, which is really kind of the biggest news around the WNBA right now. Her getting that foot surgery, her labeling as the only option. There's no really timeline for her return quite yet. It could be very well possible. I looked at, some things that she could miss the rest of the season. Now, I don't think it's likely, but, Candace Parker being down, especially with the run that the Las Vegas Aces are on, that historical run, it matters. But It matters so much because this is a team that won the WNBA title last season without Candace Parker, as I said. But, we want to give our well wishes to Candace Parker. We hope that she can get a speedy recovery because the game is better when everybody's healthy, and that's what we want to see. I don't want to see anybody miss their opportunity at a ring, even though she'll still get one if the team wins one, and gets an opportunity to really play in a WNBA finals because of an injury, and let's hope that she gets a speedy recovery back quicker, sooner rather than later. Outside of that, though, the New York Liberty set a record, a 44-point scoring quarter, which is crazy. They hit all 9 of their opening shots in that run, 44 points in 10 minutes. That is the highest scoring single quarter in WNBA history, as we just keep getting records broken in the WNBA this season. Stewie's broken records this year. Sabrina Ionesco's just been a monster this season as well, and just seeing how that team's come together. The New York Liberty, while they haven't been kind of the super team that a lot of people thought they were on paper, they've still been a damn good team, right? They just haven't had kind of the level of success that a team like the Aces have had. Considering the Aces that core has been together a little bit longer, it makes sense. They're 16-5 on the season, but again, that they do not overlook them. Them, the Connecticut Sun, the Dallas Wings, they are playing very great basketball right now, and we'll see that continue. This has been a fun WNBA season, one of the most fun first halves of a WNBA season that I can remember in recent history, and let's hope that continues. Now, before we go, we got to talk about an idiot, right? And so Jadeon, a YouTuber named Jadeon, who's been known for pulling pranks. He's gotten haircuts at sporting events before, gone to like U.S. Opens, things like that. But he got kicked out for faking falling asleep at a WNBA game, and then is now subsequently banned from all NBA-related events, reports, and everything else. This is where clout goes wrong. And the fact of the matter is, yes, Jadeon is somebody he's a prankster. But the fact that, like, when you look at the sense that the WNBA has been so disrespected for so long, and we know people are going to say, well, the WNBA has never made money. We know the getting that subsidy by the NBA has helped keep the WNBA around. We all know that. But I love the fact that the NBA stepped in and stood up for the WNBA in a case like this. This has been one of the best WNBA seasons. And while women's basketball is absolutely growing exponentially, and especially the college game, you cannot have somebody come in and disrespect. It sucks. And I'm going to play a little bit of a clip of it here.
It was just a quick heat check.
Hey, make it say hi, bro. Nothing's happening.
Just quick heat check.
How you doing, man?
Doing good.
You took a shot?
Oh yeah, the ball had came over.
That's totally not allowed.
Oh, no one told me that.
So what I gotta do, we don't need your name and stuff. We don't send you home tonight, and you might get a trespass from the team.
Why?
For the rest of you cannot take a shot during a game.
What was I supposed to do?
You don't touch the ball, man.
But the ball hit me though. I didn't go out and grab it.
You still can't take a shot.
Is it okay if I apologize to the officials?
Nope.
So who's mad at me?
The NBA.
I'm literally about to cry.
No, it don't make a difference, though.
What if I call? I'm gonna call Carl. FaceTime Carl.
It doesn't make a difference who you call, man. I'm here to secure you and not be allowed to stay, and you might not be back for the rest of the year.
Yo, Kat, they're kicking me out the Lynx game. I don't know if you can make a call. Like, bro, I spent like $1,500. I'm at the Lynx games. I'm in Minnesota.
What's up, Kat? Yeah, man. He took a shot on the court, man.
Bro, Kat, have you not seen fans? The ball hit them and they take a shot and nothing happens.
Nope. Not during the game.
Yo, ref, do you have any ear muffins? I don't want to. I have bad sleep apnea. Do you have any ear muffins?
Get up. Come on, set up.
Is it against the law to take naps?
And I love that the security came and was like, you can either go or you can go the hard way. We can do this the hard way. We got to stop the foolishness. The fact of the matter is you brought a ticket to come to a WNBA game and not only disrespected the sport, but you disrespected the athletes that were out there to perform. They had to see, and the fans that absolutely do love the WNBA. I have no sympathy for the guy and the fact that he got banned now from NBA events. I don't. Shout out to the clout that he's going to get from it. I'm sure his YouTube channel is going to grow even from this incident happening, but I'm sorry, sir. fuck you is what I got to say on that, because how dare you disrespect the athletes that put their bodies on the line and listen, they could play overseas, right, and get more money. But the fact is that they give themselves, their time, their effort, their energy, their everything, take away time for their families, and you thought it would be funny to disrespect them. That's not cool. And I'm glad and I'm happy to see him get banned from NBA events. But that's my time for today. Make sure you guys are following the show at Chicago Sky Pod on every social media platform. You can also send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, ChicagoSkyCentral@gmail.com. And then lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. We are the #1 spot for everything Chicago Sky related. And I'll see you guys next time we go to Skytown. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.